So essentially, Asura Kalanemi is the spirit we'll film video on today. I wanted to film video on Shiva, but first, before filming video on Shiva, I think it is important for me to film a video on Asura Kalanemi because he is really important in completing the tantric ladder. Now, I will explain what the tantric downward ladder is. So essentially, according to the Dravidian Ionist teaching of Guru Dabal from the Iron World Foundation, you cannot approach high-ranking deities first. You have to go to the lower deities in order to work with the higher ones. So you go down the realms. First you go to the Bhut and Preta realm, the realm of the restless ghosts. Then you go to the realm of Vinayakadantin and Pishachamayalakan. Then you go to Rakshasa Lankini. Then you go to Asura Kalanemi. And then you can approach Shiva and Kali. So essentially, Kalanemi is kind of final step before you reach Shiva, before you reach the highest of all destructive gods, Shiva and Kali. So before you reach them, you need to go to Kalanemi. So he is kind of close to the final gatekeeper. He is close to the final phase of negative spiritual development. Now, let me elaborate what is like the theological framework of this path working you are going to do. So, theological framework of this is as follows. All spiritual paths fundamentally lead to the one universal oneness, which is referred to as Brahman, and Brahman is beyond positive and negative, and therefore he can be reached through positive or negative energy. It's simply the matter of what route you take. No path is right or wrong. And so you are supposed to work with those negative entities with the goal of meeting and merging with the Brahman. You can use them for material reasons, but that is not the main purpose of working with those spirits. Fundamentally, the main purpose of working with those spirits is merging with the all, and that's the fundamental mission of those beings, to merge with the all. So indeed, what you have to understand in this entire endeavor is that Kalanemi is there to fundamentally prepare you for union with Shiva. And if you are not willing to unite with Shiva, then he will kill you in order to unite you with Shiva, because in death we are all united with God, we are all united with the Brahman. So if you are not willing to merge with Shiva peacefully through negative energy, what he will do is he will do it through destroying you. It doesn't matter to those higher ranking negative beings. But it doesn't matter what route you take, you will end up merged with Shiva, aka the Brahman, anyway, because Shiva and Kali are on fundamental level the aspects of reality which are identical to the Brahman. Actually, all gods are identical to the Brahman, they are all aspects of the Brahman, but Shiva and Kali, if you go through negative route, more than those other spirits, more than some other spirits. So fundamentally, Kalanemi's goal is to merge you with the all. Just like any negative spirit, he will just do it in a really destructive way if you don't want to listen and if you don't want to follow the path. So Kalanemi's doctrine is essentially that you can unify with the Brahman through accumulating negative energy in the material world, and that is essentially his doctrine, Kalanemi's doctrine, that you can unify with the Brahman through collecting negative energy. Now, how you collect negative energy? You collect negative energy through negative deeds and through building up your material experience. So you essentially, in a ritualized context, enjoy material things in the presence of those negative spirits, and they merge with you and consume negative things with you, and they use the material things you consume in ritual to give you more negative energy, which then results in experience of spiritual importance. Now, let me explain how it goes. So, for example, you call Asura Kalanemi in ritual. Then you call Asura Kalanemi to merge with you and you drink alcohol. So, in that action of drinking alcohol, you essentially increase the presence of Kalanemi in you, and you essentially will have stronger spiritual experience and resonance with Kalanemi, which will build up your resonance with Shiva through the negative path, which will eventually grant you the ability to withstand and witness the true reality. Now, there are many examples of this. You call Kalanemi, you merge with Kalanemi, you fuck, and you build up negative energy while merged with Kalanemi and while fucking, while having sex, and then your energy, your negative energy increased, and that fundamentally builds up your spiritual power and union with Yol. So this is essentially the rationale behind it. Through sexual act, through eating food, through drinking alcohol, through accumulating negative energy, with the help of those spirits, in ritual context, with those spirits, you essentially witness the supreme reality from the negative side. And that's the rationale. Now, I will give example of one of those rituals with Kalanemi for the audience. So you see the symbols of the screen. So the symbols you see on the screen is the yantra of Asura Kalanemi, right? This is symbols you use to call him. Now, I will essentially explain the entire ritual to you from A to Z, how to call him. But first, I had to explain this, okay? Because some of the kind of previous entities in this course, previous negative Hindu entities I talked about, they could be used more for material purposes and you can disregard the spiritual stuff. But with Kalanemi, he is really not a spirit you should call to just make money. He will give you money, he will give you material experience because that's necessary for work with him. But he is too of a high rank to just be called for material shit if you don't want to use it for your spiritual growth. So this is the reason why I kind of explained all of this, why I kind of had to go into detail on all of this. And before I explain how to call him, I will also elaborate some aspects of his character. So he is really proud and he teaches people to turn off their perception of space and time. So you can directly see how the world looks beyond space and time. He can physically block the blood flow through your center in your brain, which is responsible for space and time. And he can make you see energy directly. This is a really traumatic experience. But you can ask it of him after you achieved significant level of resonance. He can also increase willpower, teach soul travel, accumulate negative energy, and bring all of the material things. But the thing is, if you ask him for material things, you are not supposed to just ask him for material things for the sake of enjoying it. You are supposed to ask them for the sake of your spiritual evolution. And that is indeed something which he appreciates. Now, once we really cleared it out, once I engraved it in your head regarding Kalanemi, what has to be understood is baneful magic within this context, right? Because Kalanemi is of all spirits I ever mentioned in this tantric discourse, in this tantric course, the most destructive. He is the most willing to teach you how to use baneful magic for the purpose of spiritual elevation. Now, there is a really important warning here. Those rituals will increase resonance with him like crazy. But the thing is, you have to understand, he will push negative energy into you to such an extent that there could be misfortunes coming your way. Also, if you wanna call him to just make your life easier, you don't want any of this spiritual stuff from a negative side, okay? You just wanna call this guy to essentially make your life easier. You don't want to go any tantric route, do any tantric rituals. You just want to have easier life. You can use the technology to call Kalanemi, and you just tell him to leech off your negative energy, to remove your negative energy, and he will. But every time you call them to eat your negative energy, they will come and they will just eat the energy. But less negative energy you have, less dark energy you have, less you are likely to work with those spirits effectively for the purposes outside of just making your life easier and getting rid of that energy. Okay, so we cleared all of the names and ways Kalanemi can be used I am familiar with. Keep in mind that those are extremely complex entities and beings, and definitely you will find with many gurus and teachers that they have a different opinion on me than me, and they kind of think differently than me. Like, there is no orthodoxy within tantrism. It's like heterodox. The techniques are more or less accepted, but the experiences vary from a practitioner to a practitioner. Okay. So now we will go into explanation on how to call Kalanemi. So after midnight, around 3 a.m., you are supposed to draw those symbols you see on the screen, and you are supposed to vibrate the name of Asura Kalanemi over and over and over again while drawing the symbols on the piece of paper or on the floor. After you draw the symbols, keep vibrating and chanting Kalanemi's name. After that is done, you are supposed to keep chanting over and over again until the energy of Kalanemi appears. Then you will say to Kalanemi the following. Now, at this point, the phrasing will vary depending on what you want to do. After you drew the symbols and you chanted Kalanemi's name long enough, you will feel some form of a pressure, energetic presence, which will indicate the spirit is there. Signs can vary. It can be cold in the room, heat in the room, tingling in your body, pressure in the room, weird dances of the light. Just when those signs appear, know that the spirit is there, heaviness in the room, and then keep chanting until the presence builds up to the point that you are kinda sure it's there. And then you can give your request to the spirit, right? Now, requests should vary depending on what you want to do. So, if you want to manifest some material requests for the sake of spiritual evolution, then you need to merge with Kalanemi first, right? So then you will say, Asura Kalanemi, I call you to merge with me and become one. And you will chant your request over and over again as a chant, right? His energy will start to enter your body and merge with you, and you will kind of feel his energy penetrating your aura really deep. At that point, you will keep chanting until you kind of feel that part of that energy integrated. And after that merging session reached that point in which auras overlapped, then listen to me carefully. Then you offer him alcohol as an offering, and then his presence will peak. You offer him alcohol, meat, milk, any kind of food. And once his presence peaked and increased, you tell him, I call you, O Kalanemi, mighty among the Asuras, to eat with me of this offering as one. And then you start eating. As you start eating, his presence will also jump even more, but this time in your body. Right. And then after you ate with him and you finished eating and drinking, then you give your material request. Right. Now this is a really powerful ritual of merging with him. So if you want to go tantric negative route and you want to merge with them and you want to get material things from them and evolve spiritually, this is the way you give your request. If you don't want to merge with them, you just want to call them to leech off your negative energy, this is the way you go. So, okay. You do the same thing. You call Kalanemi after the midnight by drawing his yantra on the floor on a piece of paper and chanting Asura Kalanemi over and over again until presence is felt. That is clear. But you don't give any offerings. Instead, when he appears, you say, Almighty Asura Kalanemi, the burdens of karma are hard on me. The burdens of world are hard on me. I ask you, Kalanemi, Lord of the Asuras, to devour my negative energy so I can be free from it and free from my negative karma, and I can reach all. Brahman, the Supreme. And he will do exactly that. After you give your request, he will simply start eating your negativity and breaking the chains of karma so that you essentially go into the higher realms easier. There is no offering here, and there is no merging with him here. You are asking him to eat your negative karma and negative energy so you can reach the higher realms easier. Okay, now let's explain what the karma is, because Kalanemi rules the laws of time, and time is closely connected to karma. Kalanemi is the demon responsible for the perception of time. He is spirit responsible for the perception of time. That's what Kalanemi means, right? Asura Kalanemi, right? So technically, okay, what is karma? Karma means the bondage. But in a philosophical sense and a fundamental sense, karma is simply the consequence of our actions. So every action, positive action, creates positive energy in the aura. Negative action creates negative energy in the aura. Karma is the energy you generate in your aura through your actions. Karma is actually, if you are enough spiritually aware, energy you can feel, positive or negative, right? That is karma. Karma is energy in your spiritual bodies. It is not an abstract philosophical concept. Now we understand better how to work with Kalanemi for both tantric purpose or to simply get rid of negative karma so we can reach celestial realms further. He is a negative being, but he can be used in two ways. He can be used to take away negative karma or bring more of negative energy so you can see the lower worlds and reach the Brahman through the tantric left-hand path route. Okay, I explained in this video everything you need to know about Kalanemi. There is also one thing I didn't say, which I think I was supposed to say. Kalanemi is preferably called in complete darkness. so no electric lights. You can call him in any hour during the night, but as I said earlier, 3 a.m. is the most effective. But if you cannot nail 3 a.m., it can be any hour. Okay guys, so this is my Asura Kalanemi video. Talk to you soon.